Well, good afternoon, my friends, and let me first say Happy New Year. It is the beginning and the first day of 2026, and we have exciting things coming in the new year, we hope. We hope the economy continues to show surprisingly resilient strength, and we hope that the geopolitical situations in the world, well, they don't give us big hiccups. But as we do, and you and I do, we stand at this first day of the year and we kind of look forward to the next year, wondering what opportunities it will bring, what travails it might bring, what will happen. But as I looked forward in 2026, it reminded me very much of 1990. And that was the year that I left my job at Wharton Econometrics and I took the leap of faith to co found Chicago Investment Analytics with two of my good friends. We were standing then at the beginning of a technology boom. I remember calling on the major investment firms, and these were smart people, but I kept hearing a sentence that resonated with me. We don't use computers for analysis, we use people. Well, now listen, I understand what they meant. These were some of the smartest people in the world. They were just simply defending the way things had been done for 100 years. It was a legacy thing. It was a familiar way. And that way had always worked for them. But as you know, the market doesn't really care what people feel and what feels familiar. The market rewards, well, what scales and benefits it. So I'm pleased to say that our company, CIA, was part of that transition. And that was part of what got called later in life fintech, using technology to make finance more productive, more scalable, and more precise. But here's my point today with this story. To me, at least, today feels like 1990 all over again, except the stakes this time are, well, they're much, much higher. Because today, we're at the dawning stages, the beginning stages of something much bigger than just fintech. We're at the beginning stages of redefining the entire economy into a digital tokenized economy. Now, the new version of what I hear from people, of course, when they used to say we don't use computers, we use people, now I hear people just as smart saying, well, we use the legacy economy for transactions. We don't use or frankly even understand a tokenized economy. It's the same story, same feelings, same, just a different decade. But here's a major difference in this. This transition has changed. The last one changed the way we did things. This one, well, it changes everything about everything. So today on this podcast, I'm going to try to give you a roadmap. I'm going to try to give you things that you can begin to think about so that you're not left behind as we go through this massive transition. So Happy New Year. Welcome to the Steve Beeman Journey.
In a world of uncertainty, where business, freedom, and the future hang in the balance, one voice rises with clarity, experience, wisdom, and conviction. This is the Steve Beeman Show, the voice of the independent American.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Steve Beeman Journey. And yes, this is my journey to faith, finance, freedom, and indeed the future. It's built for the independent American in a very fast-changing world. So there are a couple of quick signals out of the current news I'd like to just talk about with you real quick. Two things that just without the noise really matter. First, the digital acceleration continues. AI and automation are no longer coming. They're here. They're being deployed across virtually every industry and every function, from administration to marketing to customer service, logistics. In fact, Meta just purchased a Chinese company for $2 billion, and it's a company that makes AI agents. So those are AI-based avatars and other agents that are capable of, well, replacing people in their jobs. It's a serious thing, and that's what puts me on this journey to see if, well, myself, but I can help you transition into it successfully. For independence, it means, if what you sell can be automated, you're going to be under great pressure. Now, if you sell judgment, relationships, outcomes, and trust, well, then I think you're going to be in a leverage position. So those are keys to focus on. But the second point in the news that I want to talk about is capital. It's still not cheap. I mean, rates have come down. We've pleasantly seen the Federal Reserve responding in a positive way. But interest rates matter, cost of capital matters, and it matters to you, to your customers, to your inventory decisions, and your growth rates. So, this message that I will bring to you each day is about really clarity, systems, and positioning. We're not going to be focusing on the news of the day. I thought about doing that, but frankly, you and I get enough of that wherever we go. You don't need me for that. I'm hoping to give you some ideas based on my now 50 years of experience in entrepreneurial ventures, some successes, absolutely, and some, well, I've had my failures too. So we're going to talk about those things as we go. But on this, the January 1st of 2026, let's begin with what I think is a bit of a roadmap we can use to navigate through this coming transition. I want to provide and talk about 5 things which are changing that are highly important. But then I want to talk about 5 things that aren't changing and go through those. So let's look at the number one change that we're seeing in our economy, in our entrepreneurial lives, and in everything that we see, and that's speed. Speed is becoming just more and more critical, first to market type ideas. The whole concept of speed used to be that, well, let's not sacrifice efficiency for it. But now the fast learners are the ones that are going to survive. You can't, the transition, the rate of change is so fast that if you don't stay up on this stuff, you'll be left behind in months. So together, we're going to continually be pushing the edge on knowledge on what's happening in the digital economy and the transition to the digital economy. So speed of knowledge, speed of accelerating knowledge becomes important. Number 2, tools are becoming teammates. And this is an important distinction of the new AI and machine learning robotics. It's not a novelty. AI is a force multiplier if you really get down to it. It can draft, summarize, organize, plan, and even help you sell. But you have to make it your friend, and you have to learn how to use these tools to your great benefit. The third point that, and it's something that is changing, is trust is becoming more valuable than ever. We all see the deep fakes that go on. I was talking to a judge the other day, and he was explaining that in his courtroom, he gets briefs from people, and every now and then one written by a ChatGPT looks like a novel argument until you get down and peel away the onion and realize that the citations that have been used are from court cases that either don't exist or are from a whole nother jurisdiction and have no bearing on the case at hand. This ability to create deep fakes in video, audio, print, all of that is going to make trust a much more important factor in your business going forward. It's very difficult for I know to stay on top of that, but we have to. The number 4 thing that is changing is that local is coming back. We've been a global community of business, and we've seen that, but more and more, and I've talked about this for 15 years, manufacturing is coming back to its closest point of origin. So if you have a factory, it's going to be located, instead of in China where it's cheaper, it's going to be located in Albuquerque where your customers are, because AI, robotics, machine learning, and all that will make the cost of production more reasonable. It's delivery and transit cost that'll be costing you. So localization, building that local community, is going to be something that is far more important than it's ever been. And finally, the thing that I think is important, and again, this is a topic you and I will talk about as we travel this journey, but money itself is being reimagined. Tokenization allows for us to have a very advanced barter system. And whether you love it, hate it, or don't understand it, the digital economy and the digital tokenization and digitization of the economy is at hand. This will represent how we value assets, contracts, even identity going forward. So you have to learn to be comfortable with replacing your idea of money with a digital asset. You're going to see much more of the NFT world, those non-fungible tokens. Those are a way, using the blockchain and smart contracts, that you can divvy up ownership of things. It's much more efficient than doing it through traditional means. So we're going to see more of that. When you look at the securities industry, especially there, you're going to see much less need for centralized stock exchanges and much more availability of open blockchain type things. So money is changing. So when you look at the speed of things, when you look at the tools that we're going to have, the idea of trust, local communities, and finally money, well, that's changed just about everything that we deal in. Now, with that said, there are some things that are not changing in the digital economy, and these are highly relevant. Number one, value still wins. If you solve real problems and you deliver real outcomes, well, you're going to find success in that. Number two, character compounds. Reliability is rare. Integrity still builds wealth. And that's what you need to be building from your janitor up through your entire operation. I've run companies or owned companies that I've had others run for me, and you can be put in a lot of trouble if you're not monitoring that system adequately. So as you look at character, put it through the enterprise. Relationships will still outperform algorithms. Your biggest customers are going to be because they like doing business with you. It's the old adage, people buy from people they like, and that's highly true, even in a digital age. And sales, well, it does drive everything. If you can't sell it, you can't stay independent. So teach your people how to sell in a digital world. I wrote a book called The Sales Warrior, and it's kind of lessons from the field of my lifetime in sales. And I think it's important to put a sales mentality into your entire organization and understand that in a digital economy, everything's about sales, not that it hasn't been. But then finally, number 5 here, courage is still going to be the separator. The future will belong to people who keep moving even when it's not perfectly clear. Things change at different paces in history. If you go back to a person born in 1800, by 1870, they'd seen some change, primarily trains and the telegraph. That was a big change. But compare that to the 1900s, where we started without radio and television or air transportation or cars. By the end of the century, we had computers, we'd put men on the moon, we'd had enormous change. Well, that took 100 years. What we've seen in the last 20, with the advent of Bluetooth communication technology, robotics, AI, the ubiquitousness of communication, that's changed in a period of 20 years. So it's accelerating. And it's here now. Whether you feel it today, in the next years, you will feel the impact of this digital economy. So these anchors that we need to always focus on are value, character, relationships, sales, and courage. Those 5 things will always be the anchors of a successfully independent business operation. So if we look at it in kind of an aggregate sense and put that idea of a map into one sentence, in 2026, the tools, the speed, and even the money are changing. But value, character, relationships, and courage still decide who wins. So putting that into practical sense, I want you to think about a very simple thing in your business. And the Steve Beeman journey is all about the independent business person. There are 35 million of you out there. I've devoted my life to you. I have lived in your world my whole life. I've seen ups and downs and good and bad and all the other stuff. So this whole journey is about us. It's we, the ones who are on this independent journey in this nation. By the grace of God, we have the freedom to do that, but we also need to be a community that supports and helps one another. So I want you to think about a one-sentence offer for your business. I was once asked how you define business, and I said business is the most simple thing in the world. What do you sell and to whom do you sell it? That's it. I want you to think about that, but I want you to add something to it. I want you to think about, I sell this to this group and it helps them do this. So what do you sell, to whom do you sell it, and how do they benefit from it? One of the things I've learned in my life is if you run a business and that statement says, I sell widgets to this company because I make money. Well, in the end of the day, you'll never be a wealthy person. If, however, you say, I sell widgets to this group and I do it because it helps them live a better life, well, that will build passion in you and will build a need for that product or service to go out into this market. I've met lots and lots of wealthy people in my life. The ones who are the most unhappy are the ones who set money out as the objective. So when you think about your independent business and you think, what do I sell? To whom do I sell it? And how do they benefit from it? Put them in the driver's seat, because your customer is your raison d'etre, if you will. Number 2 idea, as you look at kind of a tangible thing, pick one tool that you can upgrade here in the month of January. Pick something that makes your emails better, your calendaring better, some technology that you can offload just one of your activities. If you need ideas, send me a note to steve@stevebeeman.com and I'll be happy to send you some ideas. But the idea is to start adopting and adapting to this new technology. A lot of people use things like Calendly, which is a great way to automate your calendars. Most of us are familiar with video communication through Zoom or some other thing. But there are new things coming out every day that can help you become more efficient in what you do. Number 3, and this is a little bit different, but I'm going to phrase it like this: ship something this week. And when I say that, I'm talking about doing something different. Do a post, write an article, do a video, write an email to people. Make a simple offer on your business that you can put out through a very simple means of a webinar. This kind of stuff is taking hold. A lot of people do it. The podcast world, doing something like what I'm doing to talk to your customers is very easy to do. Do something, like this. It's going to be critical more and more that you become comfortable with it, because it's a way to promote your business, to promote your independent lifestyle, and to make sure that you have the success to which you're entitled. And that's a funny word, but I'm going to say it. So those are 3 key ideas with a little bit of a roadmap of 5 ideas of things that will change and 5 that won't. I hope you found some value in that and some ideas that maybe you hadn't thought about. If you did, I welcome you to share this video with your friends. Again, we're a community of 35 million people. My life is devoted to you. It always has been. I've been in small business my whole life. I've had great success and enjoyed it immeasurably. I've had great failure. And I've learned from that. But regardless of where you stand right now in your journey, I hope that you and I can partner together. And I'm going to be going every day on a podcast like this down one of what I call the 5 paths to a transformed life. Monday, we're going to talk about financial things. Tuesday, emotional and psychology. Wednesday, physical things, how to keep the energy up as you get older. Thursday, intellectual development. And on Friday, I'm going to close out the week every week with a spiritual journey. So tomorrow, being Friday, I hope you will join me. And once again, have a chance to watch this podcast. We're going to be talking about faith. I don't hide from this, and I won't hide from it in these podcasts. I am a devout Christian. The older I get, the more certain of it all I become. So my bias in the spiritual path is that of Christianity. I will be crystal clear on that. But if your faith path isn't that, it doesn't mean we can't get along. It doesn't mean we can't communicate. It means we have to come to understandings of each other. I'm willing to talk to anybody about anything. Heck, it's what we do. So tomorrow we're going to be on the spiritual path. I hope you'll join me for that. But for today, this is my podcast on the intellectual path for Thursday, January 1st, 2026. I pray that you have a blessed new year, and thanks for joining me on this journey, a journey of faith, freedom, finance, and the future. I'll see you.